Hello and welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, the basketball edition. Well, they're at it again. And by there, I mean they who are members and leadership of sports other than basketball showing admiration for Caitlin Clark. First, it was golf. Now it's soccer. And it seems like people of these other sports are able to recognize a generational talent and to show respect to what she brings to women's sports, actually sports in general. So it's soccer. Caitlin Clark has her hands on the NWSL. That is the National Women's Soccer League. Let's look first at the headline to the article over at SI.com. NWSL Commissioner praises, quote, multi-sport athlete Caitlin Clark amid soccer team ownership bid. Multi-sport athlete. Now, Caitlin Clark plays basketball professionally. But what people are starting to see is that, those old days where she was very much involved in other sports, they're still there. The golf, the soccer, of course, the basketball. Not sure what else she did. Oh, yeah, I think she said she ran track. So here is the commissioner of a league. No, not Kathy Engelbert. This is the commissioner of the National Women's Soccer League, and she praises Caitlin Clark as a multi-sport athlete, all whilst Caitlin is trying to get herself a soccer team. So the commissioner of the National Women's Soccer League seems eager to make Caitlin Clark a team owner. Wow. Okay. So on Thursday, an ESPN article conveyed that, quote, Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark is part of the ownership group trying to bring an NWSL expansion team to Cincinnati. So the article went on to say Cincinnati is one of a handful of finalists bidding for an NWSL expansion team that is expected to be awarded before the end of the year. Wow. Okay, we're almost there. The team would begin play in 2026, joining a previously announced expansion team in Boston to bring the NWSL to 16 teams. And the commissioner, like I said, no, it's not Kathy Engelbert. It is Jessica Berman. And she spoke with the media on Friday. Not only did she confirm Clark's interest, but gave some extremely glowing praise of the 22-year-old. So here's what Berman had to say. Again, no, not Kathy Engelbert. Kathy Engelbert is the commissioner of the WNBA, and I don't really sense any real, appreciation for the multi-sport athlete or what Caitlin Clark brings to the table. Or what's probably more accurate is that other folks in the league have her scared to actually voice that. But then again, I don't know. This is the same woman that came to the game 5 of the WNBA championship dressed like one of the teams playing. So anyway, no, we're not talking about Kathy Engelbert praising Caitlin Clark. We're talking about Jessica Berman, commissioner of the NWSL. And what did she say? She said her, meaning Caitlin, her accomplishments and contributions to women's sports is incredible, historic. It changed the game for everyone. And she's amazing. That's what she said. She went on to say, having her interest in the NWSL is an honor. Oh my goodness. We couldn't be more excited about her having shared her own personal story about having been a young soccer player and loving the game. Let's continue. Her messaging around being a multi-sport athlete is so important for young kids who aspire to be just like her. And the future is bright for how we could potentially work with her and others who are influencers and interested in engaging and growing our league. Wow. And here is the commissioner. This is just absolutely amazing. I'm going to read some more. She talked about how she'd like to follow Clark and the WNBA's blueprint when it comes to building superstars and growing the NWSL. I'd say yes, please follow Caitlin Clark's blueprint. I would not follow WNBA's blueprint because the WNBA doesn't seem to appreciate superstars. The WNBA wants to water everything down so some people don't get their feelings hurt. Some of these other people, like in golf and obviously in soccer, they want to grow the game. They want to grow their leagues. They want to grow attention. They recognize what Caitlin brings to the table, and they ain't got time for the other stuff. It's a business. So she went on to say, I think the takeaways from the WNBA's success are clear. Okay, let's see what she got to say. Number one, you have to create stars. And this comes from the WNBA example. Can't even say it. You have to help fans to relate to these incredible athletes in order to drive people to prioritize watching and attending games and really reach beyond your core audience. Berman said when asked about takeaways from the WNBA's staggering success in 2024. She said that happened for them, and it's resulted in incredible growth for the WNBA, which has effectively been a rising tide for all of women's sports. Well, if it's been a rising tide, it's been a rising tide in spite of the WNBA, who everybody who's paid attention has said absolutely dropped the ball, the metaphorical ball, in this 2024 season and did not capitalize on what they should have been, who they should have been capitalizing on. So the growth, yeah, many of them came from those Caitlin Clark fans that they were releasing memos about, etc. So please, Ms. Berman, do not follow the WNBA's blueprint. All right. Anyway, her second takeaway is that this didn't come out of nowhere. I know I've heard Commissioner Engelbert and others at the WNBA talk about the fact that Caitlin Clark has been emerging as a star for 3 straight seasons. Now, I know it seemed like she was about to say, it's not just Caitlin Clark. It didn't just come out of nowhere, meaning it didn't just come when Caitlin Clark came to the league. It's been with all of us all along. It's me too. But that's not what she was saying. She was saying that this has been growing with Caitlin Clark. She's been emerging as a star. She has been for 3 straight seasons. Now, a rising tide does lift all boats. And because Caitlin Clark has brought so much attention, other people have found out about other players. And so it served everyone well. But Berman goes on to say that Caitlin transcended this year and reached the average American. And we could say more, but it's full of praise here. Okay. These things don't happen overnight. It takes time to build, etc. And it's building with Caitlin Clark. So getting to benefit off of Clark's superstardom would be massively beneficial for Berman and the NWSL as a whole, this article states. This just blows my mind. It honestly reminds me of a scripture that says that a prophet is not without honor except in his own country. Now, I'm not calling Caitlin Clark a prophet. What I'm saying is that the WNBA reveals that, sometimes you get praised and you're appreciated everywhere else other than where you should be. Caitlin Clark plays for the WNBA. You would think the WNBA would want to highlight what she brings. They don't get it. They sort of don't want to say it. Or if they do say it, they feel obligated to say everybody, and they're not utilizing it. They're not the WNBA as a league, not just talking about the Indiana Fever, because they've done their part in terms of promoting Caitlin Clark, even while she's been out there playing golf. But the WNBA, last I checked, they hadn't said a word. Now, it might have changed, but last I heard, they hadn't said a word, and they're constantly downplaying. And yet you get multi-sport Caitlin Clark being honored, and honestly, for people saying she's going to help us grow. And so for golf, for soccer, played women's golf, then men's golf. Now talking about soccer, talking about owning a team. I'm telling you, Caitlin Clark, what she can do, what we're going to see her do, I think is going to be amazing. It's going to be like other athletes, male athletes, some female athletes as well, who are not just athletes, but they're business people, and they are setting up things for other people to benefit, but also for their own future. I feel like Caitlin Clark is saying, listen, you guys can do what you do, which means downplay me, the whole Me Too, ignore me, etc. But I'm out here, I'm just paving roads. I'm just doing my thing. So I say, that's wonderful. Roll with it, but don't follow the WNBA's example. We'll find out if Caitlin Clark is owning a piece of some soccer. Really interesting. All right, stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, please, if you have not done so. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.